The track's name is Josie, the artist Emma. He's in studio right now, and this is Radio 2000. It's world rock, his format, and it's from the album Ownership, of which has come to South Africa to promote. Let's start with the track Josie. Emma, tell us about that track.
Well, it's kind of my homage to Johannesburg.
Okay.
For all the time, all that I've been through for as long as I've been coming. I've been so embraced and supported with what I do by the musical community, both here in Johannesburg and on the New York side.
Okay.
And also my many friends. I just felt like I wanted, it was one of those songs that kind of wrote itself. I didn't really have to work at this one. It all just kind of came out. It was kind of like writing a love letter.
Okay.
And, that's pretty much it. The hook came to me pretty quickly, and it just kind of flowed out of me, so.
And I believe that the shooting of the music video was again an exchange of sorts.
Yeah.
As I understand it, they're flash images of Johannesburg sliced in between you performing in what I believe is Pops' studio, right?
No, it's not the studio. It's the laundry room.
I love it. Yes.
Well, we did this. A lot of this we do on a shoestring. So
Yes,
we took slices of live shots all over Johannesburg. The townships in city. We wanted to try and get as much as we could.
Yeah.
But then we wanted a central location for the band, and I didn't want it to be a lip syncing video. I just wanted it to be more of a candid behind the scenes look at the musicians, me and the musicians.
Yeah.
We had another site, the old train off Mandela Bridge, that old Victorian's train station.
Yes,
we were going to try and shoot there, but it became too unwieldy. So I was sitting kind of with my tail between my legs and doing laundry one night, thinking, man, laundry rooms are the most depressing places on the planet.
You do your own laundry, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm a clean guy. But I'm sitting there thinking, man, laundry rooms are the most depressing places on the planet, and I'm beating my feet on the dryer as I'm sitting there, and I'm going, oh, unless you fill them with music. And so I went back and I said, Pops, I said, I'm going to do it in the laundry room. And I called all the musos, and everybody said, are you crazy? And we did it, and the vibe is just incredible. It really worked out great.
Beautiful, love it. Now the track Josie is the single off the album Ownership.
Correct.
New album. Tell us about Ownership. What is the vision behind that? Powerful name, powerful word.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
So what are you saying in the message? Because you obviously are very involved in your music and have been. You're trained classically, amongst your other things. Classically in the sense of so much music. So, with the writing and the presence, do you write your own lyrics?
I do. I write everything.
Tell us about Ownership. What is that about?
Well, and being a songwriter is primary for me over the music, actually.
Sure.
And it's not exactly a theme. What happened is the idea of ownership. It's such an ambiguous word to me. There's such a multiplicity of meanings that can be attached to that, whether it is physical owner, the more obvious physical ownership, or if we're talking about more metaphysical or spiritual or cultural ownership. These are all dialogues that theme tended to run through the content of all of the material.
Okay.
Every song there was some that word just kept coming up as I'm writing the songs. It's somehow the idea of ownership, whether it is kind of a reference to responsibility or a reference to like I said, it's kind of ambiguous, but the more obvious meaning was, with this album, I'm launching my career as a solo artist. So I was kind of taking ownership of my career. That's the more obvious version. But a lot of the material is going to generates dialogue, kind of meta-musical dialogue about cultural collaboration.
Okay.
And whether it's positive dialogue or negative dialogue, it still is a dialogue, and I think that's really important. I think when you're crossing cultures or hybridizing music. Some people may...
I like that, hybridizing music.
I do. That's what my music is hybridized.
Okay.
It's rock, it's jazz, and it's South African, but it's Pan-African. I have elements of West African and Brazilian and even Middle Eastern sprinkled in there a little bit. So, but discussions about cultural ownership arise out of things like this.
I like
think
that,
it's
and
important
it's so
to have a
relevant
dialogue.
right now. Very relevant. As mentioned, when I brought Pops Mohammed in studio on World Africa Day, 23rd of May, the message is left was in the heart of a lot of people that understand what ownership is, responsibility, and an independency that claims a beautiful South African origin or whatever culture you come from. In the world right now, as special as Madibas' birthday, are there any particular social ills globally, particularly in cultures that really just ill you so bad? I mean, there's so much, but there's also a lot of people doing work and making things better. What is the one that you think could change if there was somebody maybe dedicating some time to it? And like in the appeal of Mandela Day, if each person only dedicates 67 minutes of their time, how can you imagine that?
Yeah,
domino effect. The world could change overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I hate. It's probably going to sound cliche, but I mean, the three big ones are poverty, hunger, and peace for me.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of anti-colonialism, and I mean that in terms of economic, as well as political, as well as economic. You'll find it in a lot of the material on ownership.
Yes,
that theme tends to run through a little bit, and I'm certainly not a gavel banging, activist in that way, but I like to bring attention to things like that, and that is that's a part of the idea of ownership and responsibility. Is where do we when do we start considering the human aspects when we're dealing with systems, whether it's global economic systems or political systems and stuff, and then a lot of times
that still aren't empowering a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. But the human aspect a lot of times seems to be marginalized and takes second place, and I think it's really important to remember.
So through music, we're bringing in the hearts of the greater side of things. I like what you're doing, and there's so many other artists and people that have the same unison and idea. South Africa, wow, we are past colonial. There's so many effects, there's so many things that have happened to us as South Africans. But I think in the tide of times and in respect to Mandela and what he's done as a humanitarian and uplifted as a legend in a spirit of humanness, we can truly create something so gorgeous, and it's happening right now.
Did you steal my word? That's my favorite word. That's
Which
my favorite. Humanness.
Humanness, really? It's a word. I love it.
Wow.
I love it. In studio, Emma, he's live from New York City, live in studio with us today, celebrating Madibas.